Hey you guys, it's Mrs. Alexander, and we've been dealing with rounding numbers, and we're rounding numbers with decimal. All of you have got it where you can round to the whole number, and I'm very proud of you. But before we jump into rounding numbers and given number in a place specified, I wanted to look at something that we've been practicing, and I'm going to quick review. Remember this place value chart? It's been in our review every morning from thousands to thousandths. And it's very important that you know your place values. You need to know where the tenths is. Look at that. Here's the decimal. It's on the other side. It's on our partial side. You need to know where thousandths is. If it asks for a whole number, you guys are going to round to the ones. So let's quick look at this. Remember your place value chart. It's important. Tenths and hundredths. So let's look at the worksheet we'll be working on. So rounding rule. If the digit is less than halfway to the next digit, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the question stays the same, or you let it rest, like the song says. If the digit is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, the question goes where the next digit goes up. So you raise your score. But remember, after all of that, you need to make sure you put zeros in its place. So let's look at this first one. We're going to round 37 and 4/10 to the nearest whole number. So if you look at it, I'm going to highlight the nearest whole number. And I've made the different words, different colors, so you can see the difference. So because this is this, I'm looking at the 7, I'm going to write my 3 down because that one's not being touched. I'm going to look at this 4. Is the 4 telling us to round the 7 up, or so are we raising the score, or are we going to let it rest? So are we going to keep the 7 the same? Well, when I look, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, let it rest. So I'm going to let that 7 rest. I'm going to put the 7, and then remember, I've got to put zeros in its place. So that 4 needs a 0. So let's look at our next number, you guys. It says round 87 and 67 hundredths to the nearest tenth. So that's the reason you need to remember your place value chart. I know my tenth is the one space after the decimal. So I'm going to go ahead and round the tenth. I'm just looking at the 6. Because I'm not touching my whole number, I'm going to quick write my whole number in because it's the 6th that I'm worried about. So I'm going to look next door to the right, it's a 7. Does a 7 raise my score or does it let it rest? So I'm thinking about those numbers. 7 raises a score. So the 6 gets raised by 1 to 7, and I put zeros in its place. Now yesterday we dealt with whole numbers and tenths. Today we're going to deal with tenths and hundredths. So we're going to round 27 and 673 thousandths to the nearest hundredth. So I'm going to highlight the hundredth so I can see it. And remember, I know the hundredth because of my place value chart is 2 spaces behind the decimal. Because I know these first 3 numbers, 27 and 6/10, isn't being affected, I'm just going to quick write it down my answer there because those are staying the same. Sorry, you guys, I miswrote the 7. So now I'm going to look behind the 7 in the hundredths. I'm going to look at the thousandths place. I see it's a 3. So now I've got to remember, does a 3 raise the score or does it let it rest? You guys are right. 3 lets it rest. So I'm going to put my 7 here and make sure you put 0 in its place. So I know technically we don't need these zeros on the end, but right now I need you guys to practice putting the 0 on the end so you remember which digit you had to look at to get your number to where it was. Okay, so let's look at number 1. We're doing a whole number again. So I'm going to go ahead and get this ready. And I'm looking at the 4, you guys. Okay, so I can write my 2 in because my 20 right here doesn't change. The 3 in the tenths place is going to tell me if the 4 raises its score or does it let it rest. So what's that 3 telling us, you guys? You're getting that song, you guys. It lets it rest, but make sure you put zeros in its place. Look at that. That 3 becomes a 0. So we're going to round to the nearest tenth. And remember the place value chart. We learned that the 10th position is one place behind the decimal. So we're rounding 13 and 36 hundredths to the nearest tenth. 3 is my 10th. So I'm going to go ahead and quick write my 13 in my answer. And now I'm going to look at the number to the right of the 3, which is my hundredths place. It's a 6. Is a 6 going to make the 3 raise the score, or is a 6 going to let it rest? Awesome job, you guys. It does. It raises the score and puts zeros in its place. Let's do one more. We're going to round 93 and 527 thousandths to the nearest hundredth. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight my hundredth. Again, that place value chart's important. We learned that its hundredths are 2 spaces behind the decimal. So right now, I'm just going to quick write my numbers in front, the 93 and 5/10, because that is not being affected. So here we go. I'm going to look at the number to the right of the 2, which is my thousandths place, which is a 7. Is a 7 making the 2 raise the score? Or is a 7 trying to say, let it rest? You're right. 7 is raising the score. So my 2 is becoming a 3, and you put zeros in its place. So here is just a little bit of rounding using the song. Again, I'm going to go over it one more time. If it's number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to let it rest. If it is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, we are going to raise that score. Okay, you guys? Please, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we raise the score. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, let it rest. And make sure you pay attention to what it's asking. Remember a place value chart. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a good day. I'll talk to you soon. Remember to smile, giggle, and wiggle. Bye.